going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rap Chat podcast. It's been a while since we've had these, but this is a really special episode. Of course, I'm your host, Jarrell, aka J Powell. Of course, be sure to follow the Rap Chat podcast at the Rap Chat podcast. Follow the podcast on your podcast application of your choice as well. Definitely recommend that. We're going to have some more episodes here coming out soon. And I believe this is the first interview for the podcast for this year. So really excited. There is a dope artist here that we have. I'm about to introduce to you here on the show, coming out with his sophomore album, Secular, The World as I See It. Without further ado, PrinceMac. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Thank you for having me. Big up the Skills Mega for patching us through here. And I'm really excited to see what it entails, you know?
Yeah, right on. Yeah, shout out to Skills. He definitely was the dot connector here for the show, so connected me with you, so definitely appreciate that. And just to really dive into it, right? So you got your sophomore album, Secular, The World as I See It. Tell me, I'm a very like analytical, artistic type of artist, you know, when it comes to like everything has a meaning, you know. Sometimes things don't have meanings, you just name it as you want, but I feel like for the majority everything has a meaning to some way, shape, or form. So tell me, as far as your sophomore album that's coming out, when does it come out, by the way? What's the date for that, if you want to plug it for your fans?
Oh, the date, if only I could remember. 18th March
18th. March 18th.
March 18th.
March 18th. All right, right around the corner here. So, right on. But yeah, tell me, as far as Secular, The World as I See It, why that name for the album? How did that come about?
Okay, so Secular, The World as I See It came about when I was kind of like thumbing through different names, and I had three in mind. I had It's a Bad Boy Thing, Bad standing for Blessed and Determined, but I felt like it didn't quite fit when I was getting through there. I thought of the Book of Joshua, because that's my middle name. Secular, you know, secular being like anything non-Christian. I am a Christian, however, the name came from, I guess, the last album being Outspoken Words, me being outspoken. So I guess this would be like, though I have these beliefs, I'm also a free thinker. And if there's plot holes in anything, like there's plot holes in everything, and I'm willing to speak on it no matter what it is, even if it's religion. So you can say, even if you're a Christian, Secular, The World as I See It, as an album title, because I wanted to grab people's attention. But at the same time, it's like, you can be a believer without being a puppet. So
yeah. Oh, right on, man. Right on. And man, I gotta tell you, as far as before we dive into the tracks here, I a little birdie told me that the majority of the production as well was you as well doing the beats. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Man, yeah, it's definitely congrats to you on that, because the album sounds really good. It's crazy. It gives me a 90s, like a 90s soundtrack for like a 90s cartoon or a 90s like show or game or something like that. It's a very nostalgic sound, which I think is super dope, man. And I think especially with this being your sophomore album and really having, like, I mean, there's a lot of really dope production stuff that's in this album that isn't in, like, you know, 20-year seasoned rappers, as far as just like how clean your intros are, like your ad libs are crazy, like interludes and stuff. Like, it's really packaged well together, you know what I mean? So I definitely wanted to shout out you on that. And then I guess as far as like beat production, like tell me as far as some of your influences and kind of how you got to the sounds that you got for this album.
You know, I've just always been an East Coast hip hop baby. Like, that is where I feel like the most comfortable. I think that's the best way I can explain it. Like, I love Tribe, I love De La Soul, which a few people have said that a few tracks have De La Soul-esque like type production, and that was one of the best compliments I could have received, because Professor Prince Paul. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Uh, or Dilla, but I don't think they meant it in as much in the Dilla sense as much as they meant it in the Prince Paul Balloon Mind State kind of way, which is my favorite De La album. And I'm glad you actually said to speak on the production because this much isn't about me, but I would like to just say how working on this project has unlocked like a new, almost grateful side to me. Like I'm always modest and I'm always humble and I always give props when they're due to whoever. But the frustration of like it taking longer than I thought it would kind of made me not see that I have literally my Mount Rushmore of Baltimore producers on this. I got Today's Mathematics, which is co-produced by myself and Meek the Beat Freak. I got Diana's Black Dress, which the first half is produced by me, the second half is produced by 7G Boomin. I got Remain Calm, produced by Skills Mega. I got Lyrical Aggression, produced by God Sends Beats. Like, and I got Hasta Luego, which is produced by Tamira Slade, which is
Mm.
like all of those
I
people.
really dig that track. The instrumental track is crazy. I really dig
Yeah,
that shit.
all of that's that cookout music for real.
Yeah, bro.
Like Tamira Slade stuck her foot in that track. But those people I just named are literally my Mount Rushmore of Baltimore producers. And I had to take a step back and think because in me being frustrated or in me being a little dejected from missing the deadlines that I set for myself in my head, I'm like, bro, you didn't even realize that your favorite producers in this area with you, your Mount Rushmore, are all in this project. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's
'Cause, like
wild, bro. That
it
is
just
wild.
geeked me. It really really made me step back and think, wow, like what a time to be alive. Not just what a time to be alive, but like just what an opportunity that you gave yourself not even knowing. Like because I didn't think to myself, oh, I'm gonna get this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person, who all just happen to be my favorite producers on this track. It happened,
Mm.
or on this album, it just happened organically. And the fact that it came together just like that is a beautiful thing to me.
Wow, that's crazy. No, definitely. It's also a tribute to the work you've put in. You know what I mean? So, as far as to have high tier level producers and stuff to be contributing to your second album, I think that's pretty fucking crazy. So that's dope. That's dope for real. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love how the intro for the album, and then especially when you said that this is what I appreciate really like as far as you as an artist, you know, like I really appreciate some of these nuances you plug in as far as this kind of start with the sick of all the whack rappers, you know, and then they're like anyone who thinks like my
Shouts out to Lyrical Leviathan, Slick Vic Low,
there you go.
Felonious Coltrane, Slangston Hughes. Big
There you go.
shouts to Lyrical Leviathan. That's from him. That vocal sample is all him. That's
Oh,
from the
nice.
DBL cipher. From the DBL cipher. I like the first few words he said. I said, "Sick of all the what?" I took that's mine now. That's going right. That's going right here. That's going right here.
Fire, fire,
Big shouts to
fire.
him. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, no, you're good. No, you're good. No, I'm glad you made a point to call him out. So I appreciate that. And then as far as like ending, as far as like if you're worried about like my language, like my mom, she knows. And then you had this insert. I know. Like I was like, dude,
She knows.
that's great.
If you want to talk to her, you can catch her at.
I thought that was dope, and it just adds to as far as kind of like your personality as a rapper and artist too. So it's just like this is cool. I'm digging this. I'm digging this. Um, and then you start off with Liftoff. You know, just doing your thing, man. And it sounds like you've been rapping for a long time, man. Tell me, how long have you been doing this for? This art form?
Profession. All right. So there's three different answers. Weirdly enough.
Okay.
Because you could just mean rapping in general, you can mean professionally, or you can mean when did I debut in the scene. Because I've been rapping just in general for about, I want to say 5, 6 years. maybe 7. I'm gonna say 6 just because it's in the middle.
Okay, okay.
um, Professionally, about 4 years. For I'd say professionally about 4 years. Nope, that would be 5 years because I released my first single in 2019.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
so professionally 5 years, and my debut on the scene was 2022, and I won the Baltimore Crown Award for Artist of the Year.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats, congrats. Dang. So, as far as like before diving into this track, when it comes to just your tenure with rapping and whatnot, like how did that really start? I heard that it was that you were kind of connected with the Beats Not Bullets thing.
Yep.
But as far as like the details around that, like what, like how did that help you with where you're at now as a rapper?
The first. I'm sorry. Can you? How did
Like
what
like
help
was
me
that
get
like
the?
was that when you started like kind of crafting like being a rapper, or was it like you were rapping a little bit before you got connected to that, and then through that it helped you
Oh,
get better? How did that come about? Like how did that work?
oh, this is the money story right here. So actually, I would write reps in ninth grade or so, but I wouldn't record anything. And I knew people that did it, but I would just be like, oh, this is just something I do. And my grandmother passed away when I was in the ninth grade. And there was actually a period of time where I wasn't really talking all that much. And I would give you yes or no answers. Like I would probably like nod or I would say it. But like I didn't want to talk to people, so I would also like kind of just space out or go away or do my own thing. And going to the Beats Not Bullets program, that's kind of what unlocked the I could probably really do this music thing. I went to the Beats Not Bullets program in the summer of 2018, and just being around people who were willing to spread their knowledge and not gatekeep and just teach students and actually care about them. Like Beats Not Bullets is literally in the title, and then you'd be around like-minded individuals who are around your age or just these creatives who had their own visions and made something of the visions, and they had these projects or they had these songs, and I was just like in awe and I was blown away by it and I wanted to be a part of it. So that's where I started writing more seriously. uh I would say producing a little more seriously because I've been making beats in middle school, but in middle school I would just take this loop, that loop, that loop, that loop, and that loop. Not even change the default BPM and just be like, I made this beat. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily call that production, or because at this point I was just taking sounds, putting them together, and you could say that's what production is. But I I guess you could say there wasn't really much heart in it then. It was just I can do this on this phone because it's on this app, and yeah. So the production bug actually hit me a little bit later when I realized I'm broke and you have to pay producers. Um,
Right, right.
so yeah, so like I would always just tell people I'm literally only doing it. Like my ideas went from I just want you to listen to me. The beat is here, but listen to me. And then that turned into, well, if you don't want to listen to the beat and you listen to me, or well, if you hear me and I'm not enticing and the beat will get your attention there, I guess I do have to pay attention to that. And then it became this thing where I was like, both parts are equally as important. But at first, I was just I want you to hear what I'm saying and not necessarily. So I started producing from scratch, like no samples in like the 10th grade. And people used to say my beats sounded like Minecraft or Tetris or Terraria. And I didn't get it because I played none of those games. But I just kept going and kept going and kept going. Uh, so y'all want to make dope beats? Just keep going and keep going and keep going. Don't stop. find what you like and just either try to remake what you like or make something similar. Because as long as your basis is what you like, then you can never really truly be disappointed with what you create. And I know I veered off topic a lot, but yeah, beats not without beats not bullets, there's no PrinceMac, because that's what unlocked the whole I can actually do this mindset, and it's what broke me out of that non-speaking stage. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, because it definitely sounds like that. Even having the conscious mindset of, I want, I want, I want the listener to hear me, but then also hear like the instrumental as well. Like that's important. You know, like there's times I'll be honest, like I love Ghostface, but sometimes I just like hearing him rap. I'm not hearing what he's saying, but he sounds dope with the beat. You know what I'm saying? So.
Catch the blast of a hype burst. I get burst. I come up tough like an elephant. I'm
You know, so and then there's other like artists where it's like they have great like their lyrics are great, but it's like I'm not really keen of like the instrumentals. Like they used to be common for me, like Resurrection. Like there's a couple good beats on there, but there's a lot of beats I don't really care for that album, but I love his lyricism. You know what I mean? So I think having a conscious effort of both, you know, and your production, especially your album specifically, like obviously a huge thing, important. But yeah, Lift Off, dope track. One of my favorite lines that you have on there is lyrical ass whooping for free as I kick hard like Wolverine from Tekken 3. I said, oh, this nigga just sold me. I said,
just like, oh, this gonna be a nice project.
I was like, that's like my favorite fighting game. I'm like, this nigga bringing a Wolverine from Tekken 3. Oh shit, you know. So I was like, it must be the same generation as I am. But yeah, man, I was like, nice callback, nice bar for real. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, yeah. As far as like you know, going into as far as like you had a Tom Revis feature on that. How did that come about?
Word. So Tom Revis is actually my engineer. He's a dope engineer. He's only 17, believe it or not, but he's a savant and an asshole. But yeah, nah, for real though. Basically, how this came about, this was either the first or second song me and him ever worked on together. But like I had it written for a minute. I actually had a third verse for myself, but I was like, I only had one feature on the last project. I didn't really have any features on this project from the beginning, but I was like, I should be more open minded about features because that opens the door for new audiences, both inward and outward. And Tom, I was like, well, you rap, you produce, you engineer, and I know you got bars. I was like, I got my shit laid. What do you have? And then he was like, I don't have anything. But he pinned up his verse nice and quick and then put a bow on the song, in my opinion. Like, Tom definitely bodied his verse for real.
Nice, nice. I was gonna ask you too because you mentioned a lot of the greats as far as like musicians like De La Soul. And obviously we just talked about Ghostface not too long ago. But was that from Beats or Not Bullets, or were you listening to those artists beforehand?
Okay. So I realized I didn't answer the previous question, which is my fault. Tom is also in Beats Not Bullets.
Okay.
Tom's class was either last year or the year before that. But yeah, Tom is also from Beats Not Bullets program, just not my class, obviously, because I'm from 2018 and his
Mm,
more recent.
mm.
And as far as your most recent question, nah, that came from, so I would listen to hip hop and like it first started with NWA when I was in middle school or eighth grade to be specific. But then I just got more and more into it. And then Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix. And then the Do the Knowledge episode had me sold on more East Coast rappers because it was NWA for me, and then it was Nas, and then
Mm.
Nas was just infallible. Nas was right here, like
Right,
goddamn, that's Nas. Fuck everybody else y'all talking about, that's Nas.
right.
And then so that was East Coast, and I didn't differentiate coast at the time. But then, in listening to Nas, you end up Wu Tang, and The first time I heard Dance with the Devil by Mortal Technique, I was in English class. And I got to, and I'm reading this book while listening to music, and then he's staring into the eyes of his own mother. I was like, so I really dug the
That's
story.
a crazy area to listen to that song.
Yeah,
I was with Billy
I,
James and I raped his mom. He was like, "Oh my god, what is
I
this?
got
What is this?"
earphones in, just like me staring deep in the eyes of his own mother. Huh? Like,
Yeah,
but that like I really got into like the storytellers, which is why I heralded Nas and I heralded Immortal Technique, and then I just kept it over East, and I guess in staying with that East Coast area, that's kind of how I got into with the De La's and the KRS ones and the yeah.
nice,
Draw a lot of
nice.
inspiration from KRS One. People say my voice reminds them of Big L sometimes, which is hilarious.
Okay, right on. A little, you know, it's funny. A little bit, I got a little bit of Lupe Fiasco slightly too. Was just like because some of the beats they kind of remind me of like Kick Push or like the Food and Liquor type, you know, slightly as far as just like some of that notion of him, like because obviously he's a huge like well he's a just in general like he's a you know he plays Street Fighter and shit, you know what I mean? So I can
Mm-hmm.
kind of connect the dots on some of the interest there.
Yeah, when the Roe v. Wade music video hit Facebook, um, forget the page. I think it was Hip Hop Forever posted it, and somebody in the comments said, "Lupe, you need to grab this kid up." So yeah, I'm like, shit, I'm right
That's
here.
fire. That's fire. I definitely want to talk about the your road view weight track a little bit later here in the show because definitely want to have a conversation with you about that. Another line that stuck out to me on another one of the tracks was well, first of all, this song I think is if you I'm sure you've probably performed it live already, but talk my shit. I
Yeah.
was like, this is like 50 Cent's like in the club, like you are going to be performing this live. Like it's just set up. It's just set up for that.
Yeah.
So but you had a line that said Prince Mac would be granddad if he had a kid. I said, oh that's nice. That's a nice
Uh
bar.
huh.
That's a nice bar. You know. Um let me I'm gonna
Lyrically.
yeah, I'm gonna do a back.
Um.
I'm gonna do a backflip here because I know you. One of your other features was a Moonchild for today's mathematics. How did that connection come about? Was that also through like how did you get connected with Moonchild on her feature for that track? That was dope too.
Okay. So once again, big shouts to Lyrical Leviathan. That is actually his daughter, and and my significant other. So,
Oh
yeah,
wow, the dots connect.
yeah.
Okay, right on, right on. She got bars too. So I was like, oh wow, great, that's
Oh,
dope.
oh. I'm willing to say I might have gotten bodied on that song. Like,
I I mean,
like
she held her own for real. So I was like,
she
she's
came
yeah,
with the raw for it. Like
yeah,
when I heard it in the studio, I was like I heard the verse already, like before we got there, and she ran it by me, of course. But hearing the final product, I'm just like, but you don't rap. But you don't rap. That's what you told me. But you don't rap. So
yeah. It's like, hey, what you trying to do to me? Just sabotage
with
me?
the double entendres and the call me Hama because you G's get rolled when I come in. Like what?
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh shit. Okay, you know. So yeah, definitely a great. She did a great job on today's mathematics. Yeah, and then like talk about shit. Definitely one that stuck out to me. Where I was like, I know this dude's performed this live time and time again because it's just set up to just really well set up as far as the song. Refuse to be bodied. I feel like that's arguably my favorite song on on the album. Um,
Question:
yes.
the solo or the remix?
Great question. I like the original. I think the original is my favorite. The remix is very good, but
Woo!
but the original is my favorite. I like the bar where you said a scale 1 to 10, you're an 8. You're an 8 and I'm a 2 because I'm the shit better than you. So, okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you're an 8. Toilet humor.
I know, right? No, I mean, there's very few that can still do that and get away with it. Lil Wayne does it great. You know what I mean?
Never underestimate toilet humor, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it gets the job done. It can get the job done.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, and then another song that definitely connected with me was "Watch Me." I know that was a single that you put out earlier prior to the release of your album. I saw that was released as a single a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was fire too. I really like the sounds around that. Can you talk a little bit as far as just kind of that song being put together?
Word. So it started off, I made the beat first, and I was just thumbing around. Everything on that track is from scratch, with the exception of the trap hats. But everything else is just my own playing, which is crazy because I can't play instruments traditionally, but I can find a pattern. If I find a pattern, yo ass is grass.
Right there you
So
go. There you go.
I found that. So I found that pattern that I don't know. So and I made it. It didn't have a name. I called one of my friends up. I was like, "Yo, Marilyn." She's like, "What's up?" I was like, "What you think of this beat?" And then she started vibing to it a little bit. She was like, "This low key sound like something you can go jellyfishing to." So I named the beat Jellyfish. And then I started writing it. And when I was writing it, I was like, "Watch me, watch me. And then, like, when the words fell in place, they fell in place. So I didn't want to get rid of the jellyfish parentheses because that's like the inside joke with the homies. Well, it's not an inside joke anymore, but it was the inside joke. So it was "Watch me, jellyfish." And it all came from me making a beat, me trying to find something to fit the vibe, and a little bit of help from my friends as far
Very
as locking
nice.
down the title.
Yeah. One thing too that I recognize that definitely connects to kind of you listening to or listening and just like getting more knowledge as far as like for like the greats before our time, right? Or just that that started this thing, dude. You're one of the artists that is bringing back the third verse for a song. Because I was
Oh,
listening to
boom.
this and I was like, they come over a third verse, and then you come in, and I'm like, oh my god, because I'm so used to these 2 minute fucking songs today, where it's like, two verses, I'm out, and I'll be honest, I've done two verses, and I'm like, I'm good, but just I remember back in the day, especially listening to Nas, you'd have a
3 to
third,
4.
sometimes four fucking verses, right? So every other track, if not most of your tracks, are like three verse songs. I was like, god damn, that's crazy. So.
So, little known fact is my mentor is actually Ogun, uh, Ogun Gordy. So, when I did the song "The Message" from my previous album, Outspoken Words, also the only song on the project that I didn't produce, I did it live, and he came up on stage. He was like, "Wasn't that crazy? He did 3 verses. Who does that?" And I was like, "Who does that?"
Real
Because
shit, bro.
it's really scarce nowadays.
Very, very much. So I was out when once I because for me listening to music so much, I'm just like, wait a minute. There's a lot left in this track. I was like, he's doing third verse, and I was like, days like this is, and that was like from like the first, one of the first tracks of the album. So I was like, man, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, but yeah, Refuse to Be Body was fire. Obviously, want to talk about Remain Calm featuring Skills Mega, or D Skills Harris. I'm not sure which alias he wanted to put the mask on for for that one. But tell me how you got connected, how that song came about and everything.
Okay. So I had this verse, this fire, dope, radical. No, I'm just kidding. So I had this verse in my notes and I really loved it, but I didn't really have anything personally that I produced that I liked it on. So at a session with me, Lyrical Leviathan, and Skills, I was like, yo, Skills, do you have anything that you think this verse can go on? He plays the beat. I'm like, goddamn, I record the verse. And he was like, hey, yo, you want this on your project? I was like, yes, Lord.
Right.
And then he and then he recorded his verse a little bit later. Got sent it in a nice timely fashion. We performed it live, which is why you hear, "Hey yo, where the fuck is Prince Mac at?" In the beginning. It's because DBL had a set, and this was when I'm a DBL affiliate slash member, I suppose. And essentially, what happened is they had a set, and I was just showing up to support my homies. And he was like, "You rocking out on stage with us?" I was like, "I don't know," because I didn't want to seem out of place, especially if I wasn't automatically just in the lineup. And then it kind of just laid where it laid. And then they went on stage. This was at Nightmare on Howard Street, 95 Kai's first coordinated event. Shouts out Kai. And they doing their introductions, and this is Michaelpedia, Lou Boogie, I'm this Skills Mega, D Skills Harris, and then you just hear, "Hey yo, where the fuck is Prince Mac at, my nigga?" And then Lou Boogie out of nowhere goes, "Yo, where the fuck is Prince Mac?" And then I hop on stage, he goes, "There go my nigga right there." So yeah, a lot of beautiful organic moments are captured in this album, which is why I think that I love this project so much. And I haven't even heard it more than once from top to bottom the way I coordinated or the way me and Moonchild coordinated it. And I just feel like it's gonna flow beautifully. And in my opinion, and y'all can agree or disagree when y'all see this, and you can agree or disagree. I think this is a 5 mic caliber album. That's just me. This is a 5 micer, okay?
I mean, I would have to agree with how you guys sequence the album. The sequencing is very good. The sequencing is very good, and it flows. It flows. It doesn't. It's not like it's kind of awkward from one song to the next, or it stutters or anything like that, or So, it's yeah, it's this is a solid project, and and it definitely can. It punches it punches pretty hard, and when it comes to just releasing projects for a sophomore album, you know what I mean. So yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Well, shout out to Skills, of course, as always. Skills.
Always love you, big brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One track that I wanted to talk about, and I know it's not necessarily probably the happiest to discuss, just because it's such a very serious song. Was Mickey. And you really got involved. You really dived into the song with a lot, and I do. I tip my hat off to you on that too, because having a song with talking about like some really serious stuff when and it's and obviously an incredibly personal song too, right? Losing a friend. What motivated you to put it into your album?
I just know that there's a lot of people out there that go through depression, sadness, anxiety, and some people that just don't want to be here no more. I have people in my personal life that are like that. I've had people in my personal life that are like that, and I just felt like they needed a song that would speak for them. And I felt like Mickey would be the perfect song for that. And if you support me, you're gonna listen to the project. I wanted it to be like, yeah, there's a bunch of I'm gonna be Mr. Rapper, Mr. Braggadocio, talk my shit, and there's gonna be the hey yo, hasta luego, fun times and all that. But you can feel every emotion in an album. It's not a crime, and I wanted them to know that I was thinking about them, and this song was for you. So yeah,
Right on, right on, right on. Oh three till infinity. This is also one of my faves too. I really like the instrumental on it. I just think
Mhm.
everything sounds really dope. Like everything sounds really dope. It fits like a glove, and and obviously rapping is fun, is dope as well. How did that come about? Part of me wants to ask where that sample is from, but how did that how did that song come about?
we sample snitching. uh, well, I can't get sued from it because it's a free sample, but that's all y'all getting out of me.
There you go.
Uh, what inspired O3 Till Infinity was I started to write O3 Till Infinity almost directly after the release of Outspoken Words,
Hmm.
but I just couldn't find the right verses. And typically, I'll start a song and then start another song and then start another song, and I'll just never stay focused. And there's probably three or two other O3 Till Infinity drafts in my notes because I've started it multiple times and just never. So this time I was like, this is one of the songs that you really, really dig, and I feel as though you should see it through. And so I just made sure to stay on course and write the song. And long story short, 93 Till Infinity is a dope album, okay? Not just the single. All y'all there that only listen to the single. Like, that's when you lost. Limitations, okay? This is how we do it. All of those are really, really dope projects. And I just feel as though it was my homage, not only to my birth year, '03. Yes, I'm a young nigga. It was also an homage to an awesome piece of work, but I wanted to flip it so it fit me and my story and my I am a conscious rapper with a smart ass mouth mentality. So
That's why I commend you for some of your bars when you did that Tekken bar. I said, nigga, I was playing Tekken in 95 or 98 or whatever the fuck that was. I was like, damn, like that bar hit me, you know what I mean? So and I'm an 88 cat, so
word.
kudos to you there. So and then Roe v. Wade. I was curious about, really good song by the way, first of all. And then second
Produced
of
that John
all,
too. Hey.
nice, 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 nice. What motivated you to put that into your project? Because I know usually a lot of artists or rappers specifically, sometimes they kind of have difficulty of teetering the line between like, yeah, this is a part track, yeah, this is a dope track or whatever, and then here I'm talking about like a political thing. You know what I mean? And sometimes that
Mhm.
could be like the line where it's like, no, don't talk about that because you want to have all your fans or whatever the case may be. But what motivated you to have this message specifically in this album?
I didn't want to leave any stragglers like just on the table. Not to mention, it goes back to I want there to be a song for everyone,
Mm.
and I felt like even if it's literally just the lady listeners, women listeners, what have you, that hear it, it's just like, oh, I'm not just talking about I'm Mr. Macho, Mr. Braggadocio, Mr. I'll rap your head off and I'll lyrically take your head and I'll throw it across a fence and it's gonna fly back and by the time it fly back I got a baseball bat and I'm gonna swing it and no, like I wanted anyone and everyone to be able to listen to this project. And the reason I recorded the track in the first place was when it happened. I didn't agree with it. I thought it was wrong. It was part of the world as I saw it. It's secular, the world as I see it. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting too because you know, I think it's commendable for you to kind of stand on that as far as having a position, and then recording that, and even though whoever is listening to it may not agree with your position, you're like, hey, this is me, you know what I mean?
Oh,
This is what I believe in.
oh, hip
Right,
hop forever. The reposts and the there were some people who did not agree with that
right,
song.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So while you say you want it to be for everyone, I'm like, however,
Yeah,
however,
I get
nigga,
you.
fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I definitely yeah, I commend you for that too. Because yeah, I'm on the same positioning line as you when I listened to that. You know, and I was like, oh, I was like, that was really commendable for him to to do that. And to kind of put the stamp on it. So I thought that was fire, most definitely. And then the hate you feel is mine. In parentheses is mine. You kind of got into your public enemy bag a little bit.
That's funny enough. Burn Hollywood, burn. No, I'm just kidding. But funny enough, I didn't have Public Enemy in mind when I like was searching for a vibe to produce it. It's just that's the way it came out, and I love the way that it came out. But I was
Mm,
thinking I need something Rage Against the Machine, Zach Della Rocha type shit.
yeah,
So, but political, lyrical, badass, political, lyrical, badass. I think I understood the assignment. So, you
yeah,
know,
man. Because yeah, when I even for I mean the intro is fantastic. The skit is fantastic, leading to it, and it just gave me Fear of a Black Planet or for fear yeah Fear of a Black Planet vibes. You know what I mean? So I was just like, very cool, very cool. So I thought that was fire. I was like, oh shit, this is Public Enemy bag. So and then of course Oslo Way, which we talked about a little bit already. But I just thought that was a perfect song to end the album with. You know what I mean?
if I'm
Definitely.
saying goodbye, I might as well put this. Hasta luego. This is it. This is what y'all got.
that's
Play it
that's
at the cookout. Goddamn.
that's very true. So if it was in the middle of the album, it'd be strange, right?
Yeah. It's like hasta luego. We still got 7 songs left. What you mean hasta luego?
I'll still wait go for a little bit because it's this one. Oh man. Let me ask you this. So every now and again, I'll ask an artist this. How do you feel that you have? How do you feel that you have? What's the word? As far as like grown as an artist from the first album to the second album. What? How do you feel? Do you feel that you've changed as an artist? Is there any new things, perspectives open for you? How you do things musically? How you think about life? How does where does that leave you as far as kind of at this particular point as an artist?
Well, there's always gonna be change, but that's literally what this project is. Like I want y'all to see I want y'all to see the growth between the last album and this album. How damn the message on Outspoken Words was really the message and it was da 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 da, but lyrical aggression was like that but amped up a little bit. It's like I'm not 18 anymore, I'm 21 or I'm 19 or however old. Like I want y'all to see the growth in this project versus this project, and not just because there's 8 songs on one and 16 on another. I doubled the workload. Uh, but I want y'all to see it as, oh, his bars have matured just a little bit. His production style has improved a little bit because on Outspoken Words, I produced everything but the message. The message was the song that the people chose. That's what we love. Which I got no gripe about that because 7G Boomin, once again, that's my big brother too. I love him to death. He did his thing with that beat. I was doing everything from scratch, making patterns and, like there was maybe 1 or 2 samples in that entire project.
Wow.
So, and this project, I sampled a little more, I pitched a little more, I chopped a little more, and I was open minded. I was down for a co-production on one track and everything. So I would say I grew up, my bars grew up, and the way I approached the music definitely did change just a little bit, but for the better.
Nice. Nice. Very cool, man. I guess before we close here, like anything out that you wanted to plug for your fans as far as like any new things that are besides obviously the album coming out, you know, on the 18th, but any shows or anything coming up that you want to let your fans know about? or just your socials and all that shit? Or for new people listening to this, how can
Or
they connect with you?
okay, so you can catch me on Instagram at Prince underscore Mac MAC 125, or about to sound old, Facebook at Brendan Tillman, BrendenTillman, or on TikTok at PrinceMac 125. Be sure to support the DBL page on Instagram, DBL Records 2020, I believe. And as far as shows, I'm not sure I have anything coming up, but definitely support DBL because those are my brothers. And who knows, you might catch me there. And
Uh,
project comes out 3/18/24. Five mics. I'm saying it. I'm putting it in the air because I love the project. I worked on it. I worked extra hard, and it wasn't just for me. It was also for the listener and for anyone that wants to take that time out of their life to check out the project. I thank you, and I want it to be worth it. I want it to be worth your time, and for those that pay for the project, your money. Pay me. Yeah. Big shouts to Tamira Slade. Big shouts to Meek the Beat Freak, 7G Boomin, The Skills Harris, Militant Marksman, God Sense Beats. Thank y'all for trusting me with y'all babies as far as composition, because without y'all, this project wouldn't be what it is. Big shouts out to Slick Vic Low, Thelonious Coltrane, Lyrical Leviathan. Thank you for just being who you are, not only as a mentor for youth, but as a dope lyricist. And thank you for not murdering me because I'm dating your daughter. And also, thank you, Moonchild, for excellent bars, for always being my emotional support system, for always being there, and for helping me arrange this album because without her, I don't think I could have formatted it any better than we did. Like, we did that as a team. Thank you, mom and dad, for believing in me and, not having a problem with me following and chasing my dreams, because we all need a support system. And I don't think there is much stronger of a support system than parents that believe in you. Thank you for having me on the show and taking the time to listen to the album as well. And thank you, Skills, for patching this through. And that's all I got to say. I'm very grateful.
Oh man, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely thank you, and definitely be sure to check out this album. Uh, be sure to check out this album, Secular: The World as I See It. Prince Mac coming at your head, sophomore album, definitely dope. March 18th. Again, this is the Rap Chat Podcast signing off. I'm your host Jay Powell. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.